guys. Welcome to the continuation of our chapter on, well, Virgil has been texting. He's been texting Kaori, and we don't know who she is just yet, except that she's available and they're going to meet at some point. And let's see what we did. What was the thumb part yesterday? When Lola, her grandma, said, "I once knew a girl in my village who was born with an extra thumb." Really? What did they do with it? Did she go to the doctor and get it chopped off? No, her family was poor. They couldn't afford a doctor. What did they do then? Kept the extra thumb. What else? Did she feel like a freak? Maybe, but I told her God must know something she didn't, and that's why he did it. Maybe he wanted her to be an excellent hitchhiker, Virgil said. Maybe. Or maybe she was like Ruby San Salvador. Who's Ruby San Salvador? Another girl from my village. She had 7 sisters. Each one of them was born. Her parents had their fortunes read. But when they got to Ruby San Salvador, no one was able to see her future. Anytime someone tried, they just got a blank picture. No one knew what it meant. She walked around all the time saying, "What is my destiny? What is my destiny?" Finally, I said, "No one knows, but you're driving us all crazy." Virgil thought of poor little Ruby San Salvador, watching all of her sisters get something that she couldn't have. "Well, what happened to her?" Virgil asked. "She left to go figure it out. The village got much quieter without all her questions." Lola narrowed her eyes at him. "What's this about, Virgilio? Of all the questions in the world you could ask, why are you asking about hands?" "I just noticed that all my fingers are nice and straight. Don't you think?" He set the clementine peels aside and put his hand on the table to show her. Lola nodded. "Yes, you have beautiful hands. You have the hands of a gifted pianist. We should put you in piano lessons. Lee!" she calls to Virgil's mother. "Lee!" "Yes, Mamang," says Virgil's mother, who was in the middle of laughing. She was always in the middle of laughing. "How come we never put Virgilio in piano lessons?" "Ha! He has the hands of a pianist." But Virgilio's father answered instead, "Because boys need to play sports, not fool around on a silly piano. Right, Turtle?" Virgil shoved half a clementine in his mouth. Mr. Salinas lifted his glass of orange juice. "He just needs to put meat on those bones." Lola fixed her eyes on Virgil's hands and shook her head. "Ay, sus," she mumbled. "You should play the piano, Anak. You could play in Madison Square Garden with fingers like that, I have no doubt." "Maybe I'll take lessons," Virgil said, his voice garbled from the fruit. Yes, good idea, said Lola. She shifted her eyes to his face and studied it. "You feeling better today, Anak?" Virgil swallowed the clementine and nodded. Said Lola. "How is that pet of yours?" "He's okay, but last night I read online that guinea pigs aren't supposed to live alone because they're very social animals." "So?" "So Gulliver's alone." "Is that what's bothering you?" Gulliver had nothing to do with his grand failure, and normally Virgil would tell a lie, but this was a situation where saying yes would kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or feed 2 birds with 1 seed, as Kaori liked to say. He might get another guinea pig, and Lola would stop asking about his sorrowful face. So he said, "Yes?" Lola nodded. She didn't understand why anyone would want a pet guinea pig, but everyone knew what it was like to be lonely. "I'll talk to your mother," she said. So he still hasn't told anyone his one big failure. The next chapter is called Bells of the Buddhist Monastery. And now I think we're going to learn about Kaori. 12-year-old Kaori Tanaka, a proud Gemini, liked to tell people her parents were born in the high, misty mountains of Samurai Village. In truth, they were both second-generation Japanese Americans from Ohio. No matter, Kaori knew in her bones that they were meant to be born in the mountains. Sometimes people were just delivered to the wrong birthplace. How else could she explain her powers of second sight, which could only come from someplace magical? Kaori was mildly surprised to get a text from one of her clients, her only client, truth be told, on the first day of summer, particularly at 7:45 in the morning. But the night before, just as she was gliding to sleep, she'd had the vision of a hawk perched on a giant fence post. Only now she realized it must have been a vulture, not a hawk. And vulture started with a V just like Virgil's name. The connection could not have been clearer. She was already awake. She believed in waking up with the dawn whenever possible. When she heard the bells of a Buddhist monastery chime from her phone, a text message alert, she snatched it immediately and read Virgil's message. This must be a matter of some urgency, she said from her bed. She liked to talk about out loud when she was alone, just in case any spirits were listening. After replying to his text, Kaori lit a stick of incense, walked across the zodiac circle rug, and stepped into the hallway. She knocked gently at her younger sister's bedroom door. No one was awake yet, least of all 7-year-old Jen. Jen was a Cancer. Morning wasn't her best time of day. Cancers were notorious night owls. Knocking is fruitless, Kaori said. She opened the door and was once again assaulted and mildly offended by her sister, hot pink dresser, hot pink curtains, hot pink rug, and hot pink comforter. It was truly the room of a second grader, complete with teddy bears scattered all over the floor and plastic teacups and teapots toppled here and there. Jen was monstrously untidy. She also had a tendency to run through hobbies. Jen was determined to become the champion of something one day. It used to be hopscotch, then monkey bars, then checkers. There was a discarded record on the floor that had once planned to master and chapter book on Abraham Lincoln from the time she decided to become an amateur historian. A pink jump rope lay coiled like a snake near the foot of a narrow twin bed, evidence of her latest obsession. One day she'll mature, Kaori says to the spirits. She walked up to her sister and kicked the jump rope out of the way with a sigh of irritation. Jen had been jump roping around the house for a week straight, driving everyone mad. She'd already broken 3 water glasses. Jen, Kaori said, poking her sister's shoulder, wake up. We have a client coming today, and we need to prepare. Jen's eyelids fluttered but didn't open. Jen, Kaori poked a little harder. Her sister was wearing bunny print pajamas. Really? Get up. Jen grumbled and pulled the comforter over her head. Kaori smoothed the front of her pajamas, coal black with red trim, and said, Okay then, I'll just prepare the spirit stones alone. Jen tossed off the covers, eyes wide, her dark hair stuck in every direction. You're using the spirit stones? I have reason to suspect I'll need them, just a sense, but if you're too busy sleeping, I'm getting up. And she did. Meet me in the spirit chamber, Kaori said. She waved toward Jen's pajamas. But get rid of those bunnies first. Okay, so now we have Kaori, who tells fortunes and reads the stars. Who's going with?
Just me, just a couple other people.
Who?
Madeline. Madeline and
I'll read more later, friends.